The Alpha Sessions.
Hello, welcome to Alpha Sessions. I'm Gigi, and today I'm here with my special guest, Nick Hilder. Welcome to the show.
Thanks very much, Gigi. Thanks for having me.
How are you doing on this gorgeous sunny day?
I'm feeling pretty. Over the weekend, I was a little bit under the weather, but now it's now being here, it feels good. It's a nice place to be. Alpha Sessions, hot, but I welcome the sun. So
he welcomes the heat, figuratively and literally, as we're about to hear. I feel on your track. So you are. We'll start from the beginning. You're from Jersey.
I am indeed.
Originally.
Yeah.
And how did your first foray into writing songs enter your life?
I was grew up on the island of Jersey. For those people who don't know, it's a very small island, actually closer to France than England, and when I was growing up, I had a really amazing music scene. A lot of people were putting on shows in scout huts and schools, various things. So that was really sort of like a bonding time. My eldest brother, he used to be in a punk band, and I sort of blame him for all of my inspiration when I was a kid. When times where I wouldn't be allowed in the pub, but I'd be like sort of sitting on the ledge, looking through the window, watching them play their punk music.
Nice. The allegations of inspiration is pretty great. I love that.
And all of that experience, I think, led me to being in bands when I was sort of a little bit younger. And that was what was sort of driven from Jersey, took us to the UK as well, and playing lots of shows around there. So that live performance, my mum is also a music teacher, so it's been around the family.
You had it around
since I remember. I vividly remember playing recorder at 4 years old with one of my still best mates, Dom, who was actually in one of the bands. So it's been a part of me for a very long time.
Was he in the punk band with you? Or?
He was, yeah.
Amazing. Recorder buddies in the punk band. I love that. Yeah. So just for a second, because your music it's very melodic, haunting, very beautiful. I would maybe, if you're a fan of Jose Gonzalez or Nick Mulvey, maybe John Butler Trio, very kind of beautifully coloured chords, very emotive. So how did you track from punk to that? What was that journey?
I think, so when I was maybe a teenager, I was definitely going through I wouldn't say it was a phase. I was an emo. I loved punk rock music. And I think a part of punk rock's sort of the songwriting is very melodic and hooks. And I think I enjoyed both writing and watching lots of bands who sort of bring that element of songwriting to it, because it brings all the fans, everyone watching along with it, and that to me has always been something that I've then transferred into the other bands that I've been into, and then also now doing my own stuff. I think it's the I wouldn't say it's. Some people kind of look at punk rock and emo and being like, it's not, there's no sort of like substance to it. Whereas I feel like, and a lot of my friends who grew up at the same time, it's like, at the moment, that was a big genre at the time that we listened to, and sort of was the soundtrack to the stuff that we were going through.
Yeah.
Sure, it'd been great if I listened to sort of like disco, soul music, rare cuts of the 70s. That'd be amazing. But I was listening to more like Taking Back Sunday and
amazing. I'm with you on that vibe. I'll just say, like, in the emo, I feel like emo was like, it was also maybe the last time that I feel like subculture was truly strong. I mean, maybe I mean there's probably people that are going to call me out on that. I might be wrong, willing to be wrong, but from what I remember, it was kind of it was as MySpace was kind of like taking off massively, but it wasn't big enough that there wasn't it felt like it had been diluted. It was still quite close,
and it was such a short period of time. I mean, we could just make this whole like chat just all exclusively about emo punk rock music, but it was such a short period of time, but massively influential to the style of writing I do today.
Well, before I run away with the emo combo. We're going to hear an unreleased song of yours first. This is called Rainbows in Windows by Nick Mulvey. I mean, no.
I win one day.
This is called Rainbows in Windows by Nick Hilder.
All of the windows have painted rainbows. All of the children are showing us bright colors. You can even see them when the lights are low. It's a sign, last sign of hope. Is it naive to believe in the kindness of human beings? Is it naive to believe in anything? Well, I believe in the colors I see. All of the windows have caught my eye. All of the people are trying to smile. Give them a reason to feel at home. Even when the lights are low. Is it naive to believe in the brightness of human beings? Is it naive to believe in anything? Well, I believe in the colors I see. I believe in the colors I see. I believe in the colors I see.
The Alpha Sessions.
That was Rainbows in Windows. So that song for me, from listening, conjures up kind of existential questions, and the line about being naive in believing in the kindness of human beings, but you believe in the colours that you see.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me a little bit about where those lyrics came from?
Sure. I think it's very apt that we are recording this chat in a hospital, because the premise of that song is, during lockdown, where you saw rainbows being outside of on windows and things like that, and people coming out with pots and pans and clapping, etc. And there was a sense of communion or community with your neighbours. It's the premise of the song is trying to remind yourselves that human beings, or myself, are capable of doing that, connecting with strangers. And I think there is an many external influences that can make you feel as if human beings don't have that sort of natural tendency. So the whole idea of being like, is it naive to believe in the kindness of human beings? And then going into the colours I see is ultimately the value of diversity that we have within human beings and the connection of that. So it was sort of inspired by the rainbows I saw in windows and like walking around and taking that, but then sort of looking more into kind of like, what does it, coming back to that existentialism, like what does it mean to be a human being? What are the values? How do we get those values? And it was a sort of a reminder of that. So yeah,
that's a really beautiful sentiment. I feel like especially in the moment that we're in, that humanity's in with the rise of AI, especially through the music industry. I'm thinking about how is that going to create a sector of people who enjoy music for the human connection closer together, and is like the indie scene going to become bigger, and then you might get the rise of like AI artists. So there's the whole argument for it's got learning capacities, but how can it tell a story? Like what's your thoughts on like AI coming up in music creation at the moment?
I think, well, it's sort of if we think about the internet as it's not exactly the same, but just as an example, it's just like the internet has made amazing things possible, but then also a lot of negative things as well. So I think with AI in terms of writing songs, ultimately if it's collecting all the history and previous music that's ever existed and then kind of like blending it all together to a perfect 3-minute pop song, it's like, okay, that wait a second, take that in for a bit.
That's it.
It's like, okay, so that can be, maybe that will be of interest for some listeners, etc. But I also think there's an opportunity inadvertently through AI that people start to care more about what humans can, their emotions and how they communicate that and how they craft stories.
Yeah.
I also believe that, yes, AI will get better and better and better at crafting these songs. And I hope that the value of performing live will become even more important. Being able to connect with the audiences. I know that the ABBA production is hugely successful.
The ABBA Voyage.
ABBA Voyage. I haven't been yet, but
even one of the Gallicas said he would be really up for an Oasis one. I was like, what? Okay, head is spinning.
But so there'll be one, like, I suppose one channel of that type of performance.
Yeah.
But then watching someone in small venues and bigger venues, wherever it may be, whether that will become more of value in time, because AI is not there yet.
No.
I hope so anyway.
I think it's just one of the most visceral, like, human experiences. It's like the oldest thing, like ever since the dawn of time, like human beings have gathered in circles, whether it's when a member of the tribe died, or you had a really successful hunt, or it was a harvest, and sat around a fire and sang together. So I don't think there's an AI experience that can replicate that. And I really hope I'm right, because it makes my head spin too much, thinking about the opposite. But we're now going to listen to your second track, which is off your EP, How to Write Love Letters. This is Daisy by Nick Hilder.
I see pictures that I can't describe, the frames now empty of the stories I heard. They're all in my head. I would be happy to run as fast as I can back into your arms, the place where we meet, living in memory where we still can't speak. 'Cause you're the one I hold on to, you're the one that helps me through. 'Cause I'm holding on to you, you're the one that helps me through. throw the rose to the river and watch it swim. Out of the petals I see you smiling. This house full with years, it's easy to find a mark for each day that made my history. Oh, it's a part of me. 'Cause you're the one I hold on to. You're the one that helps me through. 'Cause I'm holding on to you. You're the one that helps me through. As the birds fly over, as the world spins, let me take you with me, with every line that I sing. As the birds fly over, as the world spins, let me take you with me, with every line that I sing. Carry me under your wings, free to fly if I choose to believe. Carry me under your wings, free to fly if I choose to believe. Ooh, ooh. As the birds fly over, as the world spins, let me take you with me, with every line that I sing. As the birds fly over, as the world spins, let me take you with me, with every line that I sing.
The Alpha Sessions.
Hello everybody, welcome back. We are on Alpha Sessions with me, Gigi, and this is Nick Hilder, our special guest for the afternoon. Nick, beautiful song that we just heard, Daisy. Was the song inspired by a special person in your world, or where did this idea come from?
Yeah, so Daisy is named after one of my grandmothers. Her nickname was Daisy, because she used to do what is called holy fooling down in Needham Market, which is near Ipswich. Holy fooling is basically people dress up as clowns and then portray some of the stories from the Bible. It's just chaos. I think it's just a reason to be chaotic in church.
I'm kind of thinking like it'd be kind of like drunk Shakespeare
kind
of thing, but minus the alcohol.
Yeah, and just a bit more Jesus.
Love it.
But she did that with my granddad as well for many years, and I think I was very close to her, and she definitely inspired. I don't know, the larger in life sort of the idea of performing, the sort of what the benefits you can get from performing. So Daisy is about her, and it was one of those songs that it felt. I think when you have the subject matter that's very close to you, it's quite easy to remain focused and try and as you're writing the song and unraveling all the lyrics, etc. It's sort of you have the meaning underlying it the whole time, so it feels a very natural song, and that was part of the How to Write Love Letters EP, because all the songs are sort of based on people or occasions, right? And I feel like the idea of love letters is really sort of expand on that in terms of looking at it for different people.
Right.
And that was the sort of love letter to my grandmother. As she passed away, like during COVID, and I think it's one of those, like, I wanted her spirit to live on.
Yeah.
And like all the shit that she did for me.
Yeah.
I think was important to get that across.
That is really beautiful, and you're making the thread from her performance as the clown in the Holy Fooling.
Yeah.
It feels like it's already living on in you as a performer, because your performance background originally was not in music, was it?
So I think it started off sort of experimenting with music. I think performance-wise, I've been in and out of bands, but I would also say performance. I played a lot of sport when I was younger as well.
Right.
And that is, performance in itself.
Yeah.
And then as I get older, I always get this feedback, especially from bosses, where it's like, oh, you're always wearing your heart on your sleeve. I'm like, is that a bad thing? I don't know. But, you get told a couple of things repeatedly, and you're like, oh, I must now believe that heart on my sleeve is what I do.
I think it's a superpower, personally. Just my 2 cents.
And then, so through all of that, and then eventually I tried a bit of stand-up comedy in London.
I think I was chatting to you about this off air. I seriously feel like stand-up comedy is a terrifying job, because I think, as we were kind of chatting about a little bit off air, it's so obvious and it's instant when you're performing live as a stand-up comedian as to whether it's connecting or not. With music, there's room for a little bit of subjectivity, but people are either like in uproar, or there's like a smattering of nervous laughter, or it's just deathly silence. So anyone who does stand up has my ultimate respect. But do you feel like it kind of you learned anything about yourself through the process of doing comedy?
Yeah, so I'm not a comedian, and the people who, for me trying it out, I have like a huge respect for the people who are out there doing it sort of 3 or 4 times a week, because that's the only way you get better, right? Is by going out there and performing live. To that earlier point around AI and where does that go, it's like comedy is as live as you can get. And I think that was sort of the thing that attracted me to doing it, because one of my friends does it, and he was like, right, I'll give you 2 weeks to turn around like a 5-minute set that you go and do these sort of like versions of open mics and stuff. And it's like that feeling is but that to me it's like, yes, it's nervousness, but it's also exciting and sort of life affirming. There's nothing to hide behind, as you say. I think what I learned about it is that I'm not a comedian, so but I think I needed, especially this was just before lockdown. So I think what I learned from myself was that, yes, getting out there is important, and yes, I think the music is where I feel most comfortable. I still get the kick of doing stuff kind of off the hook, sort of improv, because I feel like you've only got like sort of one opportunity to get it right. So I wouldn't say it like, I wouldn't necessarily think it's sort of brave or sort of like a confident thing to do. I think it's more my attitude to like exploring and being sort of curious to an experience that I haven't experienced before. So like, why should I sort of pass judgment on something which I haven't done yet? And ultimately my friend was like, I'm sort of bored of you being miserable now that all the bands have sort of stopped and you're not doing music like you used to, so do this instead. And I was like, all right, I'll give it a go.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it paid off. There we have it.
I stopped doing it.
So your next track you're going to play for us is also off your EP, and it's called You Make Beauty.
I caught you sleeping in the afternoon sun. You make beauty so easy as the grass folds over your skin. Your hair blows across your face in the wind. Your lips shiver from the cold, but your breathing keeps you warm. I'm just describing a scene. You make beauty look so easy. You make beauty look so easy. I lay down next to you as the grass holds me in. I look over, watch you sleeping. You make beauty look so easy. You make beauty look so easy.
The Alpha Sessions.
Fantastic. That was You Make Beauty by Nick Hilder. So you released this EP and you are currently on tour promoting it. That's correct. You have a couple more dates coming up in September.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a spread out tour this time around, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this is my first record as a solo artist. It came out towards the end of November last year. Played a sold out show at the Gladstone Arms in Borough. My friend Sam, who runs Bark, promoter. He's an amazing promoter, very dedicated to the scene, and I love that I have a good relationship with him, and he's very supportive. So that was the kind of the starting off point. And then How to Write Love Letters sort of evolved into this tour with my friends, Winterfall and March, and it's called the Spring Tide Tour. And so far we've done a show in London, in Brighton. We've got Southampton show. We have playing Chichester, playing in Jersey, but kind of spread over a couple of months because we've collaborated with the illustrator Chris Riddell. Chris Riddell, people might know him. Has been the illustrator for The Guardian. He basically live draws these amazing illustrations whilst we're playing the songs.
So it's all live on screen, on kind of a projector.
Yeah,
while you're doing
exactly.
Amazing.
And he's been incredibly supportive to kind of open our music up to a wider audience. He's been drawing the likes of the National, Phoebe Bridgers, and then comes to our shows. So Chris, if you're listening, thank you very much.
Amazing. And he comes and draws the subject matter of your songs.
Yes.
Or
Yeah. So you have these. So we give him a couple of cues of what the songs are about, but then he's sort of free rein to do what he wants. And then you end up with these sort of the drawings at the end. And now so I've got a collection of these over time because we've been working with Chris maybe for a few years now.
Yeah. Are there any that have been your favourite, or that he's done illustrations of your songs, or?
So I think the ones there's a few of Daisy that he's done which have been incredible, and bizarrely how he's sort of managed to get very sort of close, or the likeness to my grandmother without ever meeting my grandmother.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I wonder, did you tell him about the holy fooling or no?
No, didn't know nothing about that. But then obviously with Daisy, obviously he's like drawing daisies, which she did have in her lapel and one of her jackets and all these various things. I was like, this is so those are certainly special to me. And then I sometimes do covers of random songs. I've got one of Cher's Believe.
I think I saw that on your Instagram.
Yeah,
I saw that post.
It seems to be going down quite well.
You played that at your EP launch, right?
Yeah. And so versions of those are really good as well.
Brilliant. And you're also playing a festival, Home Farm Festival. It's June the 8th.
Yes, so that's down in Yeovil. That's where we first sort of met Chris many moons ago.
It's a nice full circle moment.
Yeah. And he so that's run by a stage by Folk Room Records. Stephen there has been sort of a cornerstone to the kind of folk world in London over many years again, and we've collaborated back and forth, and that's a fun show for us to play. Chris over the course of 3 days literally draws every artist, so you got like sort of I don't know between 12 and 15 bands or artists, and Chris is drawing every single song for every single artist. It's fantastic.
It's crazy talent to watch it in real time when it's happening. Like even if I walk past like a street caricaturist, I just like I can't help but like stand and look. I think if you could have like one skill that you wanted to just be able to press a button and be able to do, I think like being able to draw people like that would probably be mine. What would yours be? You could have one skill, you can just push a button, you know how to do it.
I'd like to be, when I'm on my playground, I used to do the Diablo thing, the things like that. Imagine, if I'm performing on a street corner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be, I was never
very
good at it. Any skill.
Any skill.
It's a big question.
Minus like flight or like superhero stuff.
I think it's a bad time if it's AI because now everything's going to be translated, but I think being able to speak any language.
Yeah.
Would be amazing because traveling I think is awesome to experience different cultures, and you get to know a place a lot better if you can actually integrate with the locals. So that feels like one thing, but then as I say, AI might just replace all of that and I can just sort of hold up a phone.
No, we're holding out hope. It's not going to happen.
All languages, that would be amazing.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and playing your beautiful music for us. Before you see us out with your last song, which is called In Time, Your Time, Hope You Find Your Peace, I have a little thing we're going to try to mix it up today on the show. So I have some oracle cards. You can use them as prompts, symbolic gestures, or just whatever they say to you intuitively. So if you pick a card, give it a little shuffle, and then just pick one.
Okay.
Whenever you feel ready, and then tell me whatever it means to you.
All right. I'm not a magician. But I will do this.
If you let us know which one it is.
Okay. Do you want me to show you? Or?
Yes.
Oh, that's... Okay. So, this is the one I have picked.
Community. Okay.
Which will make some of my friends laugh because I bang on about community. And that being, I think, the most sort of important things about... being a human being. What do I see? So just for people, I'm seeing there's a sort of a parent giraffe and then a baby giraffe, and then it's a hotel. This is an amazing picture. Okay, so
it sounds like a dream.
It does sound like a dream.
No, you just you're walking through someone's kitchen, then you open a door and you're in the Sahara Desert.
Yeah, exactly. And I think so. There's some sort of parenting giraffe going on, welcoming you into a hotel. So I like the idea here that hotel gives me a sense of it's not your personal, it's not your home, right? But the idea being that anywhere you go in life, there is always some sort of the community is something that brings you back to your existence and your contentment, maybe something in that.
I love that. And hopefully you're fluent in the language.
And hopefully I'm fluent in giraffe. That would be good. And then there's a number 8, but I don't know if that's anything to do with it. But
8 languages.
8 languages,
including giraffe.
Love
that.
I'll come back when I'm fluent. There we go.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. It's been lovely having you. And to close us out, this is Nick Hilder with In Time, Your Time, Hope You Find Your Peace.
Holy ghosting, finding belonging. Conscious confusion, wired illusions. I know you're hurting. I know you're hurting. Wingless friendships, dialing contentions. Break from tradition, heavenly free fall. I know you're hurting. I know you're hurting. In time, your time. In time, your time, your time. In time, your time, I hope you find your peace. In time, your time, I hope you find your peace. In time, your time, I hope you find your peace. In time, your time, I hope you find your peace. In time, your time, I hope you find your peace. In time, your time, I hope you find your peace. Turning outwards feels familiar. Break from tradition, heavenly free.